I have decided to start this little project for myself. I wanted to do this last year, but I wasn't really in the mind space to do it. So here we go. 2 years in Nashville. How has it gone? What happened? Was the move worth it? Or was it the biggest mistake I made? I would love to sit here and tell you that Nashville was just all about dancing and partying and, being country. That unfortunately is not the case. You see, the first, let's say 8 months were not about that at all. When I first moved here to Nashville, I decided I was gonna start journaling. So that's what I did. I journaled almost every single day. And the stuff I journaled about was honestly about being depressed. It was about how I wished I was still in Missouri. It was reminiscing on the person I was with whenever I was in Missouri and wishing they were there. It was a lot of, kind of in a cringe way, it was a lot of love notes towards this person, right? It was this idea that I had not been able to let go of who I was, and because of that, I wasn't really embracing the full part of Nashville that was supposed to be it. I told myself I was moving for these reasons, right? And then it took being here so long. Literally, my last journal entry was in May. And in it, I talk about my brother and I talk about how I'm still not happy. Like, I just spent all this money. I've moved. Like, it's been a year since moving and I'm still not happy. I am not the person I want to be. I'm not doing the things I want to do. And that's when I realized I needed to make a change. And so that's what I did. The first thing I did is I started dancing. I started going dancing more because that's how I figured I could make a group of people, right? This was my opportunity to do things outside just the movies. So I danced and I danced and I danced some more until essentially that was my entire persona. And then after a while, I would say, I finally started meeting people again. I'd let go of that girl back in Missouri finally. And I figured, let me try my hand at this thing that everyone's supposed to be chasing, right? This whole idea of love, because I was getting older. And so that's what I did as well. I learned to love again, and I did. I loved someone again. I'm not going to name them for privacy's sake, but I loved again. And I took trips. I did stuff. My job was so hard. My job was so bad at the start, but I owe it love as well because it allowed me to see the world. And that's what I've been missing. Whenever I was in Missouri, it's like I talked about in those journal entries. We chased alcohol. We chased a party lifestyle. We didn't chase success. That was not part of my life. But with my new job and my ability to make money at such a high rate, I saw the world. Moving to Nashville meant I also got to see Australia. Moving to Nashville allowed me to see animals and exhibits and things I'd never seen before. And it also allowed me to do more than just that. I saw New York City. I traveled to Florida. I went anywhere I wanted to go and it was all right. That is what I will always give grace. And I think the ultimate reason why I don't regret moving, and I think everyone at some point in their life should do something as scary as move by themselves, is because by moving and doing something you've never done, you allow yourself the opportunity to dream, and not just dream, but actually meet those dreams. Whenever you live in kind of a rundown town or a college town, or you're with the same crowd of people, you don't see any magic. You don't do anything new. Everyone does the same thing, and that's okay. But whenever you actually move, you begin to live. And for the first time in my life, I feel like I'm living. If you keep up with this channel at all, you know that I'm currently working on a challenge. Now, this challenge started in those journal entries. I'll highlight it right here, but in one of my journal entries, I talk about this idea, this mentality in my head of being a skinny kid, and that's all I could amount to, right? But by moving to Nashville, I could see myself as more. I could see myself as becoming Omni-Man or becoming strong, right? I could see myself as being the best version of myself mentally and physically, which was just something that was not achievable in Missouri. I also began to see not just the world, but also the surrounding areas. This challenge also allowed me to push myself and be like, let me look at some parks. Let me go see what else there is in Nashville other than just dancing. And so I did that too. Over these 2 years, my life has become something that makes it where it's almost unrecognizable. I'm glad that I've become this new person, because when I set out to move and when I set out saying I'm going to be better, right? I'm going to become this version, that was achieved. I became the better version of myself, and I owe that to this move. I don't want to sugarcoat it though. That's the one thing I'd say. If you're going to move and you decide, hey, I'm going to move 500 miles away from everyone I love and everyone I know, there's going to be times in those first 6 months to a year that you just want to go back, and you wonder every weekend, did I make the wrong choice? And you wonder, how do you make friends as a grown man? How does this happen? Is it even possible? And the answer is yes. Eventually, it all starts to feel normal and you can call some place home again. And that's enough. Overall, I don't regret moving to Nashville. Do I think Nashville is home? No. But I'm glad that I moved here because it feels more like home than anywhere I've been. And the lessons I've learned are that if you're moving to run away like I did, you're going to quickly realize that the person you're running from is you, and you will be with yourself your entire life. So you got to work some things out with you and yourself in the mirror. Once I worked those things out and I ditched all those anchors and the people that treated me poorly back home, I was actually able to live and thrive and become the version of myself that I was proud of. And I'm glad to be here in Nashville. It feels like most days are magical when I'm here because this is where I'm meant to be in my life right now. And I was not meant to be in Missouri. So I give love to Missouri, but I'm glad that I'm here in Nashville because Nashville and this job and this life is actually living. And I'm glad I can love again. I'm glad I can make friends. I'm glad that there is more to life than what I was having before.